You opened that envelope, and your stomach dropped. A number with a comma in it, staring back at you from the kitchen table. The mechanic said your engine seized, said it was done. A car you thought had years left in it, maybe 100,000 miles, just gone. And now someone's sliding a payment plan across the counter like you should have seen this coming. Here's the part nobody says out loud. You probably felt a little stupid, like somewhere along the way you missed something you were supposed to know. Maybe you kept up with oil changes, mostly. Maybe you didn't. Either way, that voice in the back of your head says you should have done better. I want you to hear me on this. That feeling is a lie the industry is counting on. The car business, dealerships, chain shops, even some good independent garages, it runs on you not knowing. The less you understand about what actually kills an engine, the more likely you are to end up in that chair, across from that cripboard, writing that check. Your ignorance wasn't carelessness. It was the product. They never told you because telling you cost them money. My name's Joe Carbone. I've been turning wrenches for 40 years. Started sweeping floors in my uncle's shop when I was 16. Bought my own place on the edge of town in my 30s, and I've watched the same engines die the same preventable death 10,000 times since then. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have a course. I don't have a membership. I'm not sponsored by a parts brand. I'm a mechanic with a loud opinion and a camera my kids set up for me. What I've got is 40 years of watching people lose money they didn't have to lose on problems that didn't have to happen, and I'm old enough now that it bothers me more than it used to. So I'm talking. Now here's where everything you think you know about engine wear is wrong. You probably think engines wear out from age, from high mileage, from being old. That's not what I see on the lift. What I see, over and over, engine after engine, is the same damage in the same places. And it's not from 200,000 miles of highway cruising. It happens in the first 30 seconds of every single cold start. Every morning, every time that car sat overnight. That's when your engine is running almost completely dry. The oil has drained down off the metal surfaces while the car sat. The pump hasn't had time to push it back up through every passage, every lifter, every camshaft bearing. And you're moving. Let me tell you something straight. Every single day you don't know what's under your hood, you're handing money to somebody who's laughing at you. I've been turning wrenches for 30 years. I've watched good folks pay $600 for a $40 fix just because they didn't know better. That's your grocery money. That's your gas money. Gone. And it adds up every time you pull into that shop blind. I put everything I know into one simple guide so you stop bleeding cash you worked your whole life for. Don't lose another dollar tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen right now or tap the link down below. Do it before your next oil change. You're already backing out of the driveway, maybe giving it some gas to get onto the road. That's metal grinding on metal with almost nothing in between. Shops know this. They know it because they see the wear patterns. They see the cam lobes and the rod bearings. They know exactly when that damage happened, and not one of them has a financial reason to sit you down and explain it. Let me make this simple because the engineering isn't complicated once you see it. Your engine has oil in the pan at the bottom. When you shut the car off, gravity pulls most of that oil down. The surfaces up top, the camshaft, the rocker arms, the valve train, those get a thin film, and that's it. When you start the car cold, the oil pump starts moving, but it takes time. Somewhere between 5 and 30 seconds depending on the engine, the temperature, how long it sat, and the viscosity of your oil. During that window, you have metal moving against metal at high speed with minimal lubrication. That's where the wear happens, not on the highway, right there in your driveway. Now add in short trips. If you're driving 5-10 minutes to the pharmacy, to the grocery store, back home, your engine never fully warms up.
Cold oil is thick. It doesn't flow into tight tolerances the way warm oil does. Short trips mean your engine spends most of its running life in that vulnerable, half-protected state. And if you're doing multiple short trips a day, you're stacking that wear every single time. The engine that should have gone 200,000 miles is going to start talking to you at 90. And then you're back at that kitchen table.
So here's the $4 habit. This is it. This is the whole thing. When you start your car, especially a cold start, especially in the morning, especially in cool weather, you wait 30 seconds before you put it in gear. 30 seconds. You sit there. You don't rev it. You don't blip the throttle. You just let it idle. That's enough time for the oil pump to push oil up through the passages and coat the surfaces that need coating. After those 30 seconds, you drive. But you drive gently for the first 2 to 3 minutes. Light throttle. No jackrabbit starts. No getting on the highway and flooring it. You let that temperature gauge start to climb. Once it's moving toward normal, you're fine. Drive it like you own it. The $4? That's what it costs to move your oil change up. You'd be surprised how many folks just like you already have this guide sitting in their glove box. Regular people, retired people, folks on a fixed income who were sick of getting taken to the cleaners every time the check engine light came on. Now they walk into the shop and they know. They ask the right questions. The mechanic can see it in their eyes, and suddenly the price gets honest. That's all it takes. I'm a mechanic myself, and I wrote it for people exactly like you. Don't be the last one still getting fooled. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or tap the link in the description and join them. If you're running mostly short trips, and a lot of people your age are, errands, appointments, nothing long, you need to change your oil more often than the sticker on your windshield says. The sticker is calculated for mixed driving with some highway miles in the mix. If you're doing all short trips, that oil is getting contaminated with moisture and combustion byproducts faster than the interval assumes. For short trip drivers, I tell people, cut that interval in half. If the sticker says 6 months, you change it at 3. If it says 5,000 miles and you're putting on 3,000 a year in short hops, you change it once a year minimum regardless of mileage. A few extra quarts of oil across the year cost you maybe $4 more than you were already spending. That's the trick. 30 seconds and slightly more frequent oil changes. That's it. Now the don'ts, because this matters. Don't start the car and immediately rev the engine to warm it up faster. That's the worst thing you can do. Cold oil under pressure and heat is exactly the wrong combination for those unlubricated surfaces. Don't let it idle for 10 minutes either. That's old advice for carbureted engines, and it doesn't apply here, and it wastes fuel. 30 seconds, then gentle. That's the window. Now I'm going to tell you something that most people selling you a tip won't say. This does not fix a neglected engine. If your car already has high mileage and a hard life, if the oil changes were late, if it's been run low on oil, if it already has lifter tick or a rod knock, this habit will slow down the damage, but it will not reverse it. The bearing surfaces that are already worn don't grow back. What I'm describing only works if you start doing it now and keep doing it. Months, years. It's not a cure, it's a prevention. And the best day to start it was 10 years ago. The second best day is tomorrow morning when you turn that key. Here's the line I want you to walk away with. A well-maintained older car will outlast a neglected new one every single time. That's not a slogan. I've seen it on the lift for 4 decades. Your challenge this week is simple. 7 days, every cold start, 30 seconds before you move. That's all. Try it for a week and tell me it doesn't already feel different. Now do me a favor. Drop your car's year and mileage in the comments. I read them. I want to know what you're driving. And next time, I'm going to show you the one question you should ask any mechanic before you ever let them touch your car, because the answer tells you everything about whether you can trust them.